goal, the vision of the magazine from the very beginning was to tell Alabamians what an incredible state this is, what a diverse state this is, what a complex state this is.
I think there's something for everyone to find in there that's of interest to them, regardless of what they find most appealing.
Even if you didn't read it, if you could just turn and look at the pictures in it, you could get something out of it.
For 25 years, readers across the state have been informed, enlightened, and inspired by the words and images contained in each issue of Alabama Heritage magazine. The success of this much-loved publication began as a simple idea, dreamed many years ago.
I think the critical moment really was at the very start. We had been fortunate to find Suzanne Wolfe, and I had identified her very early as the key to getting anything off the ground.
Bill Bernard, who was chairman of the history department, invited me to lunch one day, and he brought with him several copies of state-based historical magazines. He said he thought Alabama should have one of these and wondered if I would like to edit it.
When Suzanne came and talked with me about it, she was very articulate, and I was taken immediately with the idea.
It's a wonder to me that Suzanne was able to pull this off. I mean, this is before she had money, no email, no internet. And she'll be the first to tell you she couldn't have done it without Guy Hubbs, assistant editor, who spent the hours and hours in the library looking up the facts, making sure we got it right. And she was out recruiting these very busy, very talented scholars. People like Leah Atkins, Phil Beidler, Robert Malone, Larry Clayton, Doug Jones, to write articles for a magazine that didn't exist yet. And they did.
The first issue of the magazine came out, and I expected people in the history department to comment on it. Not so. I expected people in my Sunday school class to comment it. Not so. The first person who commented was a member of the forestry school at Auburn University who grew up on a farm in Iowa, who went to Iowa State University as a specialist on pine trees. And he read it and said, "I love this magazine," because for the first time I feel like I really understand the state where I live.
The quality of the magazine has always been its strongest point, and that's a result of the strong editorial hand that's been there from the very beginning.
Suzanne created a vision that was more than just history. It's anthropology, archaeology, it's arts, it's literature. It's great scholarship, written in an accessible, engaging way. Interesting, educational, and beautiful, because Alabama Heritage wouldn't be Alabama Heritage if you didn't have Robin McDonald's design magic.
If you reflect on the content of Alabama Heritage over its 25-year history, the material presented in the articles in that publication help educate our state, provide the results of research, which is an integral part of our mission, and allow us to serve people across the state of Alabama in numerous ways.
I really think our love for Alabama Heritage magazine originates from a love for the state of Alabama. It's really got what it takes to represent our state so well.
Now more than ever in this fast-changing society, we need these popular ways that can visually and intellectually connect us to our past.
I think its success is because it delivers something that the readers can't get anywhere else. There's no other venue in the state that you can go to, and if you're new to the state, learn all about our history, or even if you've been here for a long time and think you know a lot about Alabama, you're guaranteed to learn something new.
It's just a wonderful tool for helping Alabamians see and appreciate a broader range of the stories and the people that make up our past. And it's a great historical resource for Alabama.
Many of my favorite articles are articles that are published before a book comes out, like the DeSoto exploration with that multi-volume book that came out on the translations of the DeSoto Chronicles.
The Black Heritage Council is the only statewide organization whose sole mission is the preservation of African American historic places. One of the things that our office has been working with for over a decade has been the documentation of historic Rosenwald school buildings. When Rosenwald schools were listed as a place in peril, I think really helped us connect to the public the significance of these school buildings, as well as the urgency of preserving them.
The Places in Peril program, I think, started primarily with a vision that Suzanne Wolfe had. She and I were talking one day about this great idea of highlighting annually a list, a roster of important endangered historic sites throughout the state. And we think it's been a real educational tool to make people aware of things, that are self-evidently important, but that are endangered, and things that people may not think of as being particularly historic.
In 1988, the issue was on Camp Aliceville, and it was probably the first detailed information the Aliceville community had ever seen on the camp, and it created great interest. It is the most concise source to go to on Camp Aliceville. Alabama Heritage planted the seed that became the Aliceville Museum.
In the mid-1990s, the university was having a difficult time financially, and various administrators at different times looked around for ways to save money. We must have seemed like an easy target, a small group of people in an old house on the edge of the campus. Who would miss us?
Because of all the financial pressures, we had to rely on some very kind and generous people. One of those people was Jim Cashman with the business school, who helped us to write a business plan that took us through about 5 years. Another person was Doug Jones, who was the director of the Natural History Museum, and he once loaned us $30,000 through the museum so that we would not miss an issue. And then people like Barrett Shelton, who read about our money problems in various newspaper articles.
And I do remember I called, and I presume it was Suzanne, called her and said, I don't want to see this happen. What can we do?
There were struggles to keep it going, to keep support going, and the members of the board of the magazine and the Friends of Alabama Heritage made a huge difference there. And it'd be hard to find anyone more important there than Maury Smith.
He was a caring, hard-working man for good causes, including the magazine, which he loved.
He stepped in at the point where things were getting off track. I don't know if the magazine would have totally succeeded in continuing without Maury. He was very instrumental in making all that work.
It was Maury who brought the archives in a kind of a formal relationship as a co-publisher of the magazine.
I think the fact that Alabama Heritage is now the product of a partnership involving both the state and the University of Alabama at Birmingham reflects the realities of the environment we live in today.
We really benefit from our partnership with Alabama Heritage. I think it's because it's another way to connect with the people in the state, people who are both close to UAB and those who love the history.
Seeking to secure its financial future, the magazine set out to build even more relationships, this time in the form of corporate sponsors.
Bonnie LaBreche, the marketing director, had built a strong base of subscribers. This allowed me the opportunity to explore a new funding source, corporate sponsorships. So I called Ann Pritchard in Birmingham, and she helped me to develop a long list of corporations that might be interested in funding a magazine like this.
Protective Life was one of the first companies that agreed to make a sponsorship in a significant way.
I think it puts any company in good standing to be affiliated with a magazine of this quality. Most of them do also have deep historic roots in the state of Alabama, and they're showing their pride in our state and its history and its traditions by being recurring sponsors of such a great publication.
We have customers come visit us from all over the world, and we like to have Alabama Heritage Magazine on the different coffee tables and in gift bags and just show them who we are as a state and as a proud homegrown business here in Tuscaloosa.
You're going to find content that is based, on every corner of the state, every period in state's history. I think there's something for everyone to find in there that's of interest to them, regardless of what they find most appealing. And I think that's contributed to its success over the years.
If you're from outside Alabama and you pick it up and you read it, you're going to have some interest in Alabama and wonder about that. Just a good magazine.
Those of us who are interested in our heritage and interested in history enjoy reading good, well-produced magazines as Alabama Heritage Magazine.